I just wanted to say thank you to all the listeners who do listen, and also people that are looking forward to 2019 podcasting. I'm giving you guys a little bit of what is going on in terms of my life, also the podcast I do. It's just simple for me to get off my chest rather than me just always trying to make a song for you guys. I'm always going to do that, but outside of that, as music goes, we can always be picturing how a lot of scenarios are going, where the music's headed as far as this industry, and also what do you have to say about it? So tune in on my podcast. Let me know. Send me a voice message. I'm also going to keep you guys updated as far as where I'm going in terms of this music. Now, for episode 3, I am on my bed. Yes, I know. I could be on my chair at my desk, but I'm actually just brewing some stuff right there. All right, cool. So, gratitude. What does that mean? Gratitude is giving people praise for where you are in life. You may not have everything, and sometimes I have to remind myself, you know, when I'm waking up, I have certain things that most people don't have. Peace of mind. I'm not in a third world country. I'm eating. What $1 means to me, to somebody else, that could be a week of working. So, or even an hour in some areas. Like, you ever look at Nike factories? They're made in Taiwan. For what they sell there to what they sell here, it's crazy. Like, sometimes I just gotta be grateful for the fact that I'm in this planet. I'm alive. I'm bringing content that most people are gonna be like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna do anything with it. So I'm gonna just keep it running. And in the background, I'm just gonna play some music for y'all. Not to take away from what I'm saying or what I'm doing. It's just the fact that I don't need to monetize my ideas and what I'm doing in life for you guys to be able to understand where a lot of us, not just black or white, a lot of us here in society are living paycheck to paycheck. People are ungrateful. They at least have a paycheck. And for me to say that is to say that a lot of people here nowadays are always wondering, how can I make more money? That's why I'm doing this podcast. How can you be able to create value and drive that value into content? That makes sense, right? Crazy, huh? So, with the value piece, what I would love to show you guys is a little bit of I'm not humble. I'm not wondering what else is going on in the world. A lot of things are happening. All right. So I'm just going to share a little bit. All right. So with Anchor, what I'm doing today is I'm actually just creating an episode right from my PC. Yes, I could do it from my phone, but I would interfere with one app and another. And I can run 5 different apps at the same time. And I need you guys to go ahead and send me some of your voice messages. I'm just going to keep it running. So, what I'm doing today is just bringing you guys value, content, and making sure that I'm giving you guys not just value based on what I'm able to create as an artist, but also what do you want to hear. So, gratitude's done. That was the first part of my podcast. Next part of this podcast is just understanding, like, what I like to call music business. It doesn't matter if you can rap, talk to your crowd. If you can't convert that crowd into money, your merch, it doesn't even matter. Cool. So I'm doing this in my cartoon style because I understand a lot of people are like, man, why am I not getting where I want to be as an artist? If you figured out that a lot of the things going wrong is your decision making, it's not what you have to offer, it's not that person, that label, that company. It's like you're not able to sell yourself. So, how can you sell yourself? So, me being able to sell myself is not necessarily me saying, oh, come buy my product. Because I think people have that twisted a little bit. And I'll tell you why. So, little scenario a couple days ago. I'm going to pause this in the background or reduce it just a little bit. All right. So, a couple days ago, I was in a store and I was buying something. And I saw this old guy in a wheelchair trying to get his phone, whatever, activated or whatever. It was a weird thing. And all of a sudden, I saw him, whether or not he knew he was doing a sale, he was mad at the guy in the wheelchair for returning the phone. Because one, the guy in the wheelchair asked could he keep his number, keep his files, and catch a flight in like 15 minutes, right? And the guy selling him the phone didn't even offer to charge his phone, didn't even offer to go ahead and help him change the number. He was just like, yeah, I have a product. I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to diagnose or find out what you really qualify for so that I can be able to give you the correct product. And the reason I say it that way is because a lot of people think sales is just transaction, sales is just energy. Oh, I'll never be good at it. If you really think about it, sales is you liking a shirt, you buying the shirt, you wearing the shirt, you advertising the shirt for free, right? Now, people can pay me to do this. People don't pay me to tell them tips on how to be able to bring in more money. But I want to tell you how we fixed that issue for the old guy. So the old guy returned the phone and he also was able to drop off the other phone, and he came over to my booth and he asked me, no, I just looked at him. I was like, what's wrong? Right? And the guy was so pissed off. He's like, the fucking electronics guy is not understanding my problem. Right? And all of a sudden, I asked him, what's the issue? He's like, well, I have this phone. It doesn't seem to work. Now, me myself, I'm kind of nifty about problems. So if I can solve your problem, I can sell you something. If I can't solve your problem, if you don't have a need, I can't create a BS need for you. Yeah, I can push you a product, but at the same time, a lot of people say they want something, but they don't really need it. Can you create a need? Yes, you can. But if there's no market there, the guy was just really having a bad cable charger. Stupid, right? But it's real. People don't diagnose anymore when they find sales. They just think, oh, I'm going to sell them a product. And that's why I notice a lot of musicians are not going farther in this industry. It's only because they can't create any content, any need for their service. They're just a one hit band, a one man band, let's say it that way. Or they have the lyrics, but they don't have stage presence. So you can't be bought. You can't be marketed out to another crowd because all your lyrics only focus on, oh, I'm gonna rap to this guy and that girl, and then maybe they'll like it, and then maybe 10 other million people are gonna like it. And instead of just being themselves and letting people buy them. Cool. All right, just keep following the podcast. Feel free to tune in. My podcast is still going to air. I'm going to go to commercial break real quick, and I will be back on the other side. Hopefully, that was a quick nugget for some people, because marketing nowadays is like people hate sales and they hate salesmen, but they buy a lot of stuff online and they're like, oh, I'm just going to avoid the salesman and I'm going to go to Amazon and make sure it ships in 3 days. But they've already been sold. So I laugh sometimes because the way people get sold on things and they become subscribers, all these expenses, can't afford nothing. And they don't realize like half of their expenses was sales they accepted. You know what I mean? Like they say, oh, I don't need this Hulu subscription, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Fubo. You can keep going, ESPN Plus. But at the same time, it's like you get a couple different things going for you, and you want to find like growth in yourself. And sometimes people are mad at talking to salespeople. But if we don't have sales, we don't have a future. We don't have an economy. We just talk. We just say, "Oh, I'm rich." But how'd you get rich? Salespeople make more money than doctors. Salespeople make more money than a lot of people in society. And why do people hate salespeople? Because they go against the grain. You got to go out and face your rejection. You got to go out and listen to people tell you why they don't like your product, why they think they don't like your product, follow what everybody else says. Or if they watch a lot of news, whatever the news person says. A lot of times, facts need to be checked. People need to be checked. Their sources need to be checked. Why do I say that? Is because a lot of people listen to the masses. And the masses is good and all. However, here's the thing about being in a society like ours, information spreads and information also dies quick. So if you gossip or you hear somebody gossiping, there's a lot of like there's a lot of like false information, and then there's a lot of like people that think they're experts, and then also there's a lot of people that do not speak out at all, and they have the information. Why? Because they'd be a whistleblower, they'd be a John Snowden, they'd leak shit that wasn't supposed to happen or is classified, whatever that means. However, I'm only saying that to say that a lot of people do not research their own facts. They just go on blindly believing. Why do I say that? I say that because right now in our education system, I grew up in an education system where you were just supposed to take your grades and pass. However, everybody's teaching and learning style is different. I'm not a visual learner. I don't learn by doing, I learn by listening. If somebody was giving me the wrong information and I heard it over and over, I would eventually start doing that. So I gotta end up now as a grown man, start checking the facts when I hear something. I gotta like double check stuff. And why do I do that? Is because a lot of people just go on blindly, sheep leading sheep, and don't know who's the sheep or the wolf. in sheep's clothing or the shark in the water. So they end up getting bit. And the thing is, I'd rather make my mistakes than be the one always failing because I listened to somebody else's bad advice and this person knew what the hell they were talking about. But people don't even know anymore. People are like, oh, there's all these things happening in life. And a lot of people don't understand where they're hearing all their sources from. So they just go on to blindly believe that things are going to happen in a certain way. Like I remember a couple years ago, not even a couple, almost almost 7 years ago, people were saying the Mayan calendar is going to come to an end. And people went on to blind faith believe that. However, more money and more wealth is being made now than was in the last 15 years. Why? Is because of the information and access we have to that information now, not just because we're educated society. We have people that are experts even before they get to a recognized expert level. They just have information on Google, YouTube, a lot of different websites, and you can find it. So the world is now becoming more and more connected. And what does that mean for us? Well, I'm glad I'm here to talk about that. And by that, I mean there's a lot of different ways we can connect to people. There's over 15 different social media websites. You can share the same link 5 times over in different languages, and it would still sound the same in one language than it would in the next. And some people hate that. Some people say that part of our future gives us no privacy at all. It gives us no way of being able to understand where the technology ends and where people can live as human beings. And there's people that are constantly stuck on, I'm not going to be able to do what I want to in life unless I have a phone. And some people don't understand that their own progress in life is not just dependent on technology, but it's also dependent on the fact that we're now a connected human society. We're not just people that can live in Norway, Sweden. Let's even go to the point of being in Africa. People have to have a Facebook. You have to exist. And gratitude, existence, and then finally to touch up on this last part of this episode, people have to have a way of creating value for others. Whether you get paid for it or you don't, doesn't matter. You just have to know how to create value or even to be able to your advantage. So I appreciate you guys listening. This is the last podcast of this series. The next podcast will be talking about Kendrick's influence on hip hop, and we will follow that up with another podcast based on the whole group from TDE. And then if you guys feel like commenting, let me know. However, that is my next tangent. Bye. You just in the pen, I can find you. 6'1" on the money, 9'2". You just said a word and I run through. 2 texts, no reply, that's when I knew. Church talk, I can make a brick walk. Up north, down south, bankhead to Rachel walk. Hit it with a little water, stretch it like a vocal cord. STD, I run my ward. Fuck a fed and his daughter. I'm a rented compound. I supply the cigarettes and bread. I got a man and she a redhead. She took a quarter and she fled. I'm in the left, so she
driving road.